Hi boys and girls, Mr. Cier here. I'm showing you a new challenge in SketchUp today. So we're going to go to SketchUp, and this is still going to be a sculpture garden project. However, I'm going to put some new challenges on it. So before I show you the challenge, I wanted to show you one way that you can use your shape tools a little bit differently. And the way to do that, for example, specifically the polygon, is if we take the polygon tool and click on the ground and start stretching it. I'm going to let go now, but this is called extendable. When your shape is extendable, you can let go of your mouse and type in a number followed by the S key, and you can see that those numbers appear in the bottom corner of your screen. If I press return now, my polygon will turn into that shape, and I can continue to change the size of it and then blow it up into 3D. Now I could do the same thing. Click and release, type in 22S, return, and you get a 22-sided shape, which looks at first like a circle, but is really more like, well, we can make it a cog. And the way I'm going to do that is I pull this one out a certain amount, I don't know how much, but to duplicate that, I'm going to double click it on every other surface, and that's going to make it come out like a sun shape or like a cog or a gear. So that's a cool way to make a brand new shape. You can make any number of sides in your polygon. However, I'd recommend staying below like things in the 3-digit area because that could potentially slow down your computer. That's how you can use the polygon tool to come up with new shapes. I'm going to Command Z this because I want a clear screen so I could show you the challenge for today. Alright, so the new things about SketchUp include that all your shape tools are right over here. There's also some additional tools like these extra arcs. I don't really use them, but you could if you wanted to. And of course you have your pencil tool, your eraser tool, the selection tool, and the push-pull tool. Alright, so I'm going to show you, we've already been using these tools, but I'm going to show you the new challenges that I'm going to ask you to try. I'm going to use my square tool for this demo, but you could use any of the tools in this folder, and I also want to show you how to use some special tricks on the polygon tool, but I'll show you that in a sec. So let's say we were using our square tool. We're going to use the square tool and the push-pull tool, and those are the only tools we're going to use for this entire this sculpture challenge. So I'm going to start by doing that, and then I'm just going to, all I can use is the square tool in as many different ways as I could think of to make changes to my sculpture. Again, using nothing but the square tool and push-pull. So I have to figure out how I can make my sculpture original using just those two shapes. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. There's a lot of different answers, but you know, you're going to have to figure it out on your own to figure out how to do it. So I'm going to make a bunch of rectangles here, and you can see that I'm trying to think of ways that I haven't already used them. I made a hole in one of them. Now I'm using my rectangles and putting them at different levels to make almost like stairs. Actually, I like that the way it is. Over here I made another hole through the floor, but I'm going to also make an area that comes out because it doesn't, not everything has to go down, it could also go up, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure that there's something happening on all sides, so I'm going to come over here and start working over here, and I can use my square tool to also create rectangles. That's not cheating. Already I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different rectangles or squares in my piece. However, I'm going to try and put at least 20 of them in. And really 20 is like what the minimal you should do is, which means that that's if you're aiming for a C. If you really want to get a high score, you want to do a lot more than that. Here's a new way to do it. I'm using the shape tool to overlap itself to make a little design, and then I'll probably pull it up into 3D afterwards. Okay, now if I zoom in and orbit around here, you can see that I made a really cool sculpture right there. And all of this again is using just those two tools. So that's the challenge. Make your entire sculpture using just those two different tools and make it as use those tools as differently as you possibly can. Okay, so this sculpture took me about maybe 15 minutes. I'm going to give you a little walk around here. And sometimes I made little tunnels come out the back, and that's why they turned out this gray, because I blew that shape from in here right out and popped it through the back, or the same way I pushed this all the way through and kept going. That's why those shapes became gray. But you can see that I put a lot of shapes into this. I would go as far as say there's probably maybe almost 100 rectangles on here. But you get to decide when you're done. I'm just saying that the more you work on it, the better it's going to look. Okay, the more cool it's going to be, and probably the more you're going to learn. And it's also going to promote your creativity to have these challenges. So I hope you enjoy this sculpture garden challenge. I hope you come up with something really different and cool. So do me a favor and feel free to leave appropriate feedback. And I hope you enjoy the rest of SketchUp.